Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm recording this video a bit later than usual, so I'm going to be rushing a bit so that I can get to the tip of the Bucks Magic Game 3 because I had cross-country practice this morning instead of it being in the afternoon when it usually is. So, yeah, this is going to be kind of a quick one. Start with Zach Collins is done for the season. Kind of a bummer for the Blazers as they were finally at full strength, and with Dame's injury, this team's not looking great. So I think the Lakers' chances are looking pretty good right now. Nets Raptors. Raptors won pretty easily, which they should. They definitely have the better roster. Fred VanVleet continued his playoff success. Ibaka and Norman Powell both played really well. And Kyle Lowry continued to impact winning by making winning plays. In the Jazz-Nuggets game, Mike Conley's return made a huge difference. He had 27 points, and he made 7 of his 8 three-pointers. So, yeah, when he's back and playing like this, the Nuggets look like they're in big trouble if they don't have Gary Harris coming back, just because of the sheer amount of wings that the Jazz have to throw at the Nuggets on offense. I should say that I didn't watch the Nets-Raptors game or the Jazz-Nuggets game, because for the Nets-Raptors game, I don't have NBA TV, as I've said before, and for the Jazz-Nuggets game, I was at cross-country practice, so I missed those two games, so this is just my takeaways from the box score and the highlights. Moutier fell out of the rotation, what I wanted with Conley's return, so that was good to see, and I'm glad Quinn Snyder made that call. Rudy Gobert had a great game. He had 24 and 14 on 11 for 15 shooting. So that's what they're going to need from him. He outplayed Jokic yesterday. And I thought going into this series, if he could kind of be on the same level as Jokic, then the Jazz would have a pretty good shot at winning games. And now with him outplaying Jokic yesterday, you saw the result. The Jazz won by like 40 points. So obviously Rudy's not going to be able to do that every single game for them. However, that was a big key in yesterday's victory for them. And Gary Harris, Michael Malone said that he could return by the end of the first round. That'd be really big for the Nuggets, and they need him back ASAP. And the next two games I'll talk about a bit more because I was actually able to watch these two, so I have a lot more takeaways from them. Especially the Sixers-Celtics game, because it's not looking good for the Sixers right now. Kemba kind of went into cardiac Kemba mode, if I'm being honest. It felt like every time the Sixers started making a run, he hit huge shots. He only had 24 points, and he only shot 50% from the field, 38% from three. But it just felt like every shot that he hit was a clutch shot. Well, not necessarily a clutch shot, but a shot that they needed in order to swing the momentum back to their side. And he also grabbed 8 rebounds. Now, most of those are rebounds that just kind of fell into his lap. But it's still important for them to clear the glass against the Sixers team that rebounded pretty well yesterday. Embiid was knocking down jumpers, and if he's doing that, he's one of the harder players to stop on the offensive end of the floor in the entire NBA. So if he can be doing that for the Sixers, that's huge, and maybe they can steal a game. However, considering how well they played on defense yesterday, I'm not sure that they'll be able to replicate that every single game against the Celtics, and obviously they weren't unable to win yesterday, despite Tatum being in foul trouble and their defense really being able to limit the vaunted trio of Walker, Brown, and Tatum. So we'll see what happens in Game 4. Maybe the Sixers can steal one, but it's not looking great right now. Shake Milton was inefficient from the field. I'm pretty sure he only shot 33%, and he wasn't knocking down his threes, which is something he can usually be counted on to do. But he looked good getting to the rim, and if he can add that aspect to his game and improve it, he can be a really quality starting player for this Philly team. However, his positional fit is a little odd considering the amount of shooting guards they have, which I'll talk about a bit more later. Furkan Korkmaz actually started getting some more minutes. He played mostly in the first half. I think he had 10 minutes, but he didn't play too much in either of the first two games, so I think that was Brett Brown making an adjustment and seeing that their offense is really, really struggling, and so they added a player that can be a bit instant. Korkmaz can knock down shots, obviously, as everybody knows. But in the second half, he didn't even go to him as much, as he really only played 6 guys a whole lot of minutes. Thibault got benched. Mike Scott played a bit as the 7th man, but really it was just the starting lineup. And then, who was coming off the bench? This is a little, well, I guess I'll keep talking. Sixers, they battled and they fought yesterday, but they're just not talented enough to win against the Celtics when Tobias Harris is unable to be a second option. And yesterday he started to realize that his shots weren't falling, so he tried to get to the rim more, but they were giving him open looks, and after he started out 0 for 5, he seemed really hesitant to take threes, and those are shots that they need him to be taking and making at a pretty good clip if they're going to have a chance to beat the Celtics team. And if he's afraid to even take the shots and try to hit them, then the Sixers are really in big trouble. I know I've been harping on Harris a ton and beating up on the guy, so I think I'll talk about something he did an excellent job of yesterday. He grabbed 15 rebounds, 8 offensive, and that's really key for them because the one advantage the Sixers have in this series is the amount of size they have on the boards. So for him to grab 8 rebounds and create extra possessions for them, especially when they're not shooting the ball well, that was a big key, and it gave them a chance to get into the game and keep it close. So props to him. The Sixers' transition D and pick and roll defense both looked pretty bad. They really talked about that at halftime a lot. Kenny pinpointed how they don't really seem to have a game plan guarding the pick and roll, as sometimes Horford or Embiid, whoever was guarding the screen man, were dropping back or playing up. They didn't seem to really have an established game plan, which really reflects poorly on the coaching. I like what Brett Brown did by shortening the rotation yesterday, but he's not the coach for this team going forward, and I hope that this offseason, after it's been rumored for a long time, they finally move on from him and hire a new coach. Another thing I liked from the Sixers yesterday was Josh Richardson contesting jump shots. It's something that you see a lot from Eric Bledsoe and Dante DiVincenzo on the Bucks, so maybe it's something I value more than the average fan would, but he did a nice job. He's sneaky. He came from behind and just kind of stuck his hand in there and blocked jumpers. So he had 2 blocks and 2 steals yesterday, and I liked what I saw from him on the defensive end of the floor, and obviously that's something that he was very good at in Miami. So I'm a big Josh Richardson fan, as you probably know from watching the last couple videos where I've talked about the Sixers, and I'm excited to see what kind of role he has next season and moving forward. He's a free agent in 2021, so we'll see if they're able to retain him or not. And who knows if they will even need to retain him, because they really have a shooting guard overload at that position. They have Josh Richardson, as I said. Shake Milton is really not a point guard. He's more of a 2. Matisse Thybulle obviously was a rookie last year. And then Korkmaz is another guy who plays that same shooting guard position. And I really think they're going to have to move on from a few of those. I'm pretty sure Korkmaz is a free agent this offseason. Matisse is on his rookie deal still for a few more years since he was a rookie this year. So they won't have any trouble retaining him, especially since he was picked outside the lottery, so his contract really isn't that expensive. And Shake is also a young guy. I'm not sure about his contract stuff. So yeah, Sixers are in big trouble. Kemba Walker hitting shots. Jaylen Brown is a good finisher. Tatum didn't have the best game because of his foul trouble, but he also, kind of like Kemba, felt like he was hitting shots when they really counted. So, yeah, pretty big win for the Celtics. I thought that the Sixers were going to be able to win that one, and I was actually really cheering for them down the stretch in that second half because it felt like they were just playing hard, and I wanted to see their effort pay off, but it wouldn't surprise me if they came out in Game 4 and threw out a big stinker and got blown out. And that would really, really seal the nail in the coffin for Brett Brown. Mavs-Clippers was the last game of the day, and Luka's injury is scary. I haven't heard any news on it yet, but if he's out, then it might as well be GG for the Mavericks. Kristaps Porzingis looked great yesterday, but is he going to be able to carry this team? Absolutely not. They need their lead ball handler and top 10 player in order to have any shot at beating this Clippers team, especially with Kawhi playing as well as he was. Yesterday he had 36 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. He shot 13 for 24 from the field, and once again got to the free throw line 10 times. And they just really look like they have no one who can stop him. Dorian Finney-Smith was on him for some time, and he's a really good wing defender, but I felt like he was on Paul George a bit more than he was on Kawhi, and he's obviously not on a level where he can guard Kawhi. And Maxi Kleber was unable to keep up with Kawhi for any of the minutes that he was on him. And it just feels like Kawhi gets whatever shot he wants, whether it's that mid-range turnaround or getting to the rim and getting fouled. Obviously, he does that outstanding. He's shot double-digit free throws in each of the past 2 games. So when he's playing this well, this team's going to be very, very hard, if not impossible, to beat, even with Paul George's struggles. And he needs to step up for them to beat the elite teams, such as the Raptors, the Lakers, the Bucks. Whenever they run into one of those 3, the Celtics too. The Celtics look good right now. Whenever they play one of those 4 teams, Paul George really needs to step up his game, because right now what he's doing is not getting it done. Yesterday he had 11 points on 16 shots, 3 for 16 shooting, 1 for 8 from the 3-point line. They need more out of him. I thought when he hit that 3 early in the first quarter, I thought that this game was going to be different, but it really wasn't. And obviously playoff P, I'm not so sure that's a thing, because I think that Paul George is a great player. He's a top 15 player, and I think that great players will step up in the playoffs, and he's just been a bit unlucky so far, maybe, but they need more out of him, that's for certain. Marcus Morris, I haven't talked about him yet in either of my videos where I covered the Clippers, but he's been a key in the series. He's playing great defense. He was matched up on Luka yesterday, and he did a really, really good job picking him up 3/4 court and just wearing him out. He fouled out of the game, but that just shows how hard he was playing. He also grabbed 8 boards, shot 5 for 8 from the field, and just played great defense, which was probably the most key thing for him yesterday. But in game 1, his shooting was really what helped them to get that victory. Porzingis, like I said, is a star. Next season, he's got potential to make an all-star team, make an all-NBA team, and I really think he can be the second best player on a championship team. Now for the Mavericks, it's all about finding the third piece, because Tim Hardaway Jr. is not quite there. I think he's more on a Harrison Barnes, Tobias Harris type level. And obviously the Warriors did not re-sign Harrison Barnes, which ended up being a great choice for them, because they signed Kevin Durant as his replacement. Obviously a bit of an upgrade there. But the Philadelphia 76ers gave Harris big money to be their third option. And I don't think that teams should do that. Don't pay your third option that much money. So hopefully the Mavs see that in Tim Hardaway, and if he demands too much money from them, they just let him walk once he's a free agent. I'm pretty sure he's a free agent in 2021 with a player option this offseason, but I think he'll probably opt into that player option because it's about $20 million, and with the uncertain stuff with the cap this offseason, I'm sure he'll just cash that check. Shamet played well, kind of the first time he scored well this whole offseason. Obviously, he took that boneheaded 3 at the end of the fourth quarter, but other than that, he looked pretty good. Had 18 points on 7 for 13 shooting, 3 for 7 from the 3-point line. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, the emotions running high. There was a lot of squabbling going on. Luka is a bit of a whiner. I don't remember noticing that in him before too much, but he does like to complain to the refs. He likes to kind of... Yesterday, at least, he was picking fights with Montrezl Harrell on multiple occasions. So, we'll see. That just might be his first playoff series, and he's getting a bit more excited than he usually would. But Boban, as a leader, did a great job trying to calm him down once he was injured, which is just so sad. I really hope Luka can come back and be at 100% for the next game. But Boban has been important to this young Mavs team. Mentoring Kristaps, talking to Luka. I think that he is important in more ways than his 3 points in 10 minutes stat line would show. Porzingis also played hard yesterday, which was good to see on defense and going for loose balls and stuff. And he hits deep threes from like Dame Lillard range almost. Not quite, but yeah, he's a really good shooter. His post game looks good. I really am high on this guy, and I think he's going to be really amazing for this team in the future. Hopefully they can just find that third piece. Seth Curry is a gamer. This guy is just a walking bucket. Yesterday he shot 9 for 11, 4 for 4 from 3. What more can you ask in terms of efficiency from a guy off your bench? He had 22 points, and I'm just very much impressed with him. I'd like to see him get a bit more run with the starters almost, because he doesn't really have to have the ball in his hands, and he can space the floor for Luka a bit. And I think that would be a good player to have in with the starting lineup. Obviously, Dorian Finney-Smith is important in this series because of his defense on the wings and George and Leonard. But I think that having Curry in can also help them out a lot too. Finally, I think I've talked about just about everything I wanted to. I'm going to run in and try to catch the opening tip for the Bucks Magic game. And ladies and gentlemen, I will talk to you again very soon.